Okay, guys, so if you're still hanging in there with me till this point, you're probably saying to yourself, so everything sounds great. So now what? Where do we begin? What do we eat? How does this process start? So, how I normally start is I like to do a fast. And I know everybody hates that word. No one likes to fast, but I just do a little fast, maybe 24 hours before I start the diet. And I like to, go to bed, wake up in the morning, and I'll just have a liquid day. I'll have tea. I'll have all different flavors of tea ready on hand, and I'll just drink tea all day. Or you can have like chicken broth, and I just like to have a liquid diet day. And what that does is that just gets your body ready. It is like letting your body refuel and letting out the carbohydrates and the sugars and getting it ready to become fat fueled. So, like I said, that's one way to do it. You don't have to do that. You can just wake up one morning and say, today's the day I'm going to start keto, and start with your breakfast. Simply just have your eggs and bacon or eggs and sausage and leave out the bread and potatoes. And that's just another way to do it. Either of those two options are a great way to start your keto journey. Okay, so now what are we eating? We're eating proteins and fats. We're staying away from the carbohydrates, which is our bread, pasta, wheats, potatoes, our starchy vegetables such as corn and carrots, which are high in sugar. We're focusing our bodies on our fats and proteins. So one of my go-to foods are I love rotisserie chickens. I will get one from Walmart, and that's mine. Nobody in the house better touch my chicken. On the diet, you're going to be able to eat all the meats that you want. So you're going to be able to eat your chickens, your beefs, your porks, your seafoods. Those are all going to be free foods for you. So one thing I've found to be very beneficial is stock up on your seasonings, because you are not going to just want to be eating bland chicken. You're going to want to get your hands on some good seasonings. Sorry, I'm driving. You're going to want to get some really good seasonings and make some savory dishes. So you're going to be satisfied with what you're eating. You're not going to be hungry if you're eating some really tasty food. So, that's what I like to do. I make a lot of stir fries. So I like a lot of sauteed vegetables with butter, and, use your salt and your garlic, and it can be really delicious. For those of you that like seafood, you can pretty much eat whatever seafood you prefer. That's not something I eat because I do have a shrimp allergy, so I just try to avoid it. However, one thing I do like is I do eat tuna fish, and I'll eat that on romaine lettuce, and, again, I'll season that up a bit. And the romaine lettuce are excellent way of replacing your bread. I like to make BLTs on that. I'll just put my Miracle Whip or mayonnaise, whichever you prefer, with your bacon and tomato, and that's one quick thing that you can make. Another thing that I like to make is if you're just trying to eat something quickly, I'll eat Smith's hot dogs. I'll just cut them up like a little kid and put some ketchup on them. And yeah, there's some carbs in ketchup, but I don't really like to, because I emphasize making your food flavorful. If I'm already cutting back on what I'm eating, I will not cut back on my condiments. That's one thing that I've learned to do. I will use the regular dressings, I'll use regular ketchup and such because you're already cutting back so much. Why cut back even further? So, yeah, I'll make like just some hot dogs and I know those are just silly little things, but who wants to be gourmet cooking every night with steak and chicken? And you can have pork. I make a lot of pulled pork. They sell them, I think it's Smithfield. You can just buy them at Walmart, and I throw it in the oven, or if you have a lot of people with their Instapots now. So easy. Just throw it in, season it a little bit, some liquid, and just let that cook throughout the day or however long in your Instapot, and that's a fantastic thing to eat. There's just so much you can eat, and also meats, cheeses, and olives. That used to be my go-to lunch. Every day I would pack that for lunch. I would just cut up some cheese. I like the sharp cheddar, and I would take some pepperoni or some salami and olives. I know that might sound crazy to some people, but that used to be my lunch for the longest time. You can have that all freely. All of that is like low fat. I'm sorry, low carb. We're not doing low fat. You want to have fat. You need fat in this diet. You need to have fat in order for this diet to work because that is what's fueling your body. So you want to aim to have probably, I want to say at least, and I'll have to double check this later, but at least 60 grams of fat per day because that's what's fueling your body and that's what's going to give you your energy. And right now, I have so much energy, it's ridiculous. I was just telling DeMarco this morning during coffee, I'm like, I hate this time of year because I have so much energy and nothing to do with it. I need to be outside. I need something to do because I'm like trying to make a garden in the house and I have so much energy. I'm getting insomnia. Normally I'm so sleepy. I can go to sleep, but just by simply putting a movie on and sitting down, I'm falling asleep. But I'm not like that on this diet. I'm ready to just run up and down. I'm ready to clean the entire house. I really need to find a hobby because I'm running out of things to do. So if you need energy, this is your diet. So you're going to want to keep eating some fatty foods. Eating low-fat chicken and salad all day probably isn't going to work because you're going to feel like shit. You're going to need to have incorporated some type of fat into your diet. So if you're eating those type of things, you're going to want to supplement some olive oil into that, or there's other things we can get into later regarding MCT oils and such. Those things will help build your ketones, but we will talk more about that later. But yes, fat is important in this diet, so keep eating, high fat foods. There's good fats, nuts. You're going to want to eat some almonds. You're going to want to eat some, low carb. Some of the nuts you don't want to get into too much because they can have too many carbohydrates, but yeah, you're going to want to keep some good fats. And yeah, it's going to make you feel great. Okay, so I've probably bored you all to death by now, so I'll stop there for today. And I will talk to you guys next time.